We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone and it's time. The 70th anniversary. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Vettel, a Red Bull, and Ricciardo, Gasly, Sainz, Stroll, and Sergio Perez, Grosjean, Ocon, Alexander Albon. They've taken a grid penalty, and Latifi, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and Lando Norris. Russell and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Glad you all can join us. It's the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. To 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. They weren't held for very long. Lewis Hamilton gets away well. Valtteri Bottas has no chance into turn one as everyone comes across, and now we're ahead of both Ferraris. Both Ferraris have had an absolute mare, both losing one position there at the start. Lewis Hamilton keeps his lead over Valtteri Bottas into turn 3 and 4. Now we get on the exit, and nobody can get past Lewis Hamilton. And now back there, you see Danny Kvyat and Lando Norris going side by side onto the straight. The Williams and McLaren are side by side, and Danny Kvyat starting his first race with Williams after he had to come in for Williams after Latifi went to AlphaTauri because of our move to Red Bull. It's our first race for Red Bull, and it's Danny Kvyat's first race back in Formula One since 2018 and since 2019. Sorry, and here we go on board with Kimi Raikkonen. He got away pretty well, didn't gain any spots, didn't lose any. So all around he will be hoping for a better rest of the Grand Prix, as he really needs to make up some overtakes to try to get in a good position in the championship. As they all go down the straight, and as we see the McLaren, and our teammate is all over the back of the McLaren, our old teammate Pierre Gasly, as he is still in AlphaTauri for this season. As we still go on board with Carlos Sainz going around the final quarter, now going into the first corner, as now we ride on board with Sebastian Vettel as we lock up a little bit on the front right tire, and now Sebastian Vettel is all over the back of us on the exit. Sebastian Vettel will get a good run. There's the rear end a little bit skirmish, but he will just be a little too far back to make a move on this lap. We go on board with Sebastian Vettel again, as he is all over the gearbox of us as we go a little bit deep into the corner, and now Sebastian Vettel is all over the side of us as we go into the outboard shot into the final chicane. We push him out a little bit wide, and now Charles Leclerc is joining this party as he's trying to get past his teammate Sebastian Vettel and the final corner. Who will come out of this battle? Which Ferrari has the upper hand on the other one as they all come over the crest? And now the Carlos Sainz is joining into this battle, but it will be Sebastian Vettel who comes out on top. Here's the start. Let's go on board with us to 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. We didn't get the best, well, we did get a pretty good start. In the second phase of the start, that's when we really start to close up, and then we just go straight on through and right past the 2 Ferraris, down the middle of them. Here's Sebastian Vettel's onboard camera As you can see, Charles Leclerc right next to him. And you will see us fly through the inside. Oh my goodness, we had so much overspeed on the two Ferraris. Here's Charles Leclerc's on board. As it's lights out and away we go. He gets away decently, not as good as the two Mercedes, so they can't battle with the Mercedes. And as you see, us and the Red Bull fly through. Run on board with Sebastian Vettel again. As he's all over the back of us, all over our gearbox, going into the fast left-hand corner. We lock up a little bit, and now Sebastian Vettel is side by side with us, going through Woodcut now before, and now we on the exit. Sebastian Vettel gets a good run, but so does Charles Leclerc. And now Charles Leclerc is all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. It's going to try to make a move on Sebastian Vettel, as Leclerc is very, very eager in that second Ferrari. Going through Mackett's and Beckett's now. Sebastian Vettel is all over our gearbox, as now he's side by side with us onto the exit, and we almost make a little bit of contact with Sebastian Vettel, and on the exit we get a little bit of slipstream. But everyone else around us has DRS. We're the only ones without DRS, and now Daniel Ricciardo, late braking, tries to get past Sebastian Vettel, and is still side by side with Sebastian Vettel into the final chicane, and Vettel just gets ahead, and now we send one down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. Now Charles Leclerc is trying to get past Daniel Ricciardo, and Sebastian Vettel came out on top as he got past us in the Ferrari. As now our teammate Pierre Gasly is going side by side with Lando Norris into the next couple of corners, turn 2 that is, into turn 3. It's almost a chicane, but it's not close enough to be considered a chicane. Into turn 4 now, the quick left-hander, and they are still side by side, and it will come down to who has a better exit, as now we ride on board with Carlos Sainz. It's not Lando Norris, it's Carlos Sainz, as Sainz is all over the back of our prior teammate. We go on board with Charles Leclerc. His teammate got past us a few laps prior, and now we block him off. Now that's the only move that we can make, but now he tries to go around the outside, but now Daniel Ricciardo is all over, and he's passed Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc came out second best, and Daniel Ricciardo gets past the Ferrari man. Now we ride on board with Danny Kvyat in his first ever race, trying to fight George Russell. He goes to the inside of Woodcut, and now the long right-hander, and Danny Kvyat's just behind, and he will stay behind of George Russell as George Russell puts up some great defending on this lap, and Danny Kvyat will have to wait a little bit longer. You ride on board with us, going through Maggots and Beckett's now, and now Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo are all over the back of us on the exit. Now Daniel Ricciardo is coming at us, and so is Charles Leclerc. They both have DRS. We block off Daniel Ricciardo, but we can't block off the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. As Leclerc goes to the inside, we make a little bit of contact. He pushes us wide, but we come back onto the circuit, and he's just ahead of us. Now we send one down the inside, and we just make a little bit of contact, but we are in front, and now Daniel Ricciardo gets past, and across the line we take P4, and to the line, Sergio Perez just pips the McLaren. What an ending to this race.
Get in there, Lewis. Awesome drive there, mate. Awesome drive, absolutely stellar.
And while Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix, we come in P4. To be honest, this car is really a struggle to try to keep on the track. It's understeering in a lot of corners, so it's really tough.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Yeah, the Red Bull car, it, understeers quite a bit. It's not as planted as you would expect. The AlphaTauri felt quicker, even though it wasn't. It felt like it gripped around the corners a lot better. But, the Red Bull is very quick, but, it's gonna take a while for me to fully learn the car, and, I'm excited for Hungary, so should be a good race. Today was not that great of a race. The start was good, so in the end I made up a position or two, so it wasn't too bad.